coming from inside.
Now, you just talked about institutional religion as a way of shutting people out. Is that bad? Shutting people out? Because I think that's absolutely true. I mean, as a big proponent of institutional religion, say it absolutely shuts a lot of people out, particularly Jewish.
Yeah.
There was a review in Salon.com of 2 religious memoirs. One memoir was by David Klinghoffer, how he became an Orthodox Jew. The other memoir was someone who became a Christian. And the book reviewer noted that as David Klinghoffer became more religious, his world narrowed. Because that's the effect of taking on Orthodox Judaism.
Yeah.
As the Christian became more Christian, her world expanded. She went to like soup kitchens and blah blah blah. She opened herself up, which I thought was a very interesting and telling comment.
Very.
So, but let's get back to your.
But wait, it was Christian. It wasn't fundamentalist. You'd have to choose another extreme version, to match the Orthodox. I'm just saying.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Because each of those.
But there are fundamentalist Christians who work in soup kitchens and who dedicate themselves to helping people with AIDS.
True.
Who
Good
are out
for
there
them.
on the streets.
Good for them. I mean, I used to do a lot of pro-choice activism, and I was directly facing people who were, and you don't say pro-life, that's their rhetoric, it's about anti-choice, okay? And I would be for hours trying to help the clients get in, facing these people, and there was no common ground. None. There was no way to have any, speaking of, this goes back to writing and communicating and reaching people. There was no, it was we were, could have been Hindi, or there was nothing to meet on.
Was any of that your fault?
No. I like engaging with people. I just have had enough, in my experience, exposure. I think just politically right now, it's the people who are the independents. It's not really about talking to people who already are very rigid and very focused on things. But certainly in my experience in many different forms, I have seen institutionalized religion be something that doesn't appeal to me.
What's so bad with shutting people out? Institutionalized religion shuts a lot of people out. What's wrong with that?
Did you see the documentary on the, I like to call them Amish, but the Amish? That when the kids, very interesting, when the kids, they get 1 year or something?
Yeah, 1 year to be wild?
Yeah.
No, I didn't, but I've heard of it.
Oh, you got to see that. And then we'll have a further, if you want, absolutely fascinating. Because, there is something to be said for forging community, keeping people out, having a simpler life. Whatever, you do whatever you want, but don't tell me what to do. That's the thing that I get really irritated by. And politically, it's not your business, okay? Do whatever you want. I mean, I had to go to a high school where I'm a Jew, or half Jew, whatever. I'm not, fundamentalist Christian, and everyone's praying before the assembly, and I would get in trouble, people come over. What kind of thing is that? I mean, I happen to be very rebellious and aggressive and had a strong sense of self because I was kind of on my own in a way early on, but that can really, hurt people, as we've seen in many ways. So I think part of it is when there's that when it bleeds into politics, and when there's an imposition of your values on other people. If you want to stay away, you want to keep to yourself, go ahead. I mean, I admire what the Amish, as much as I know about what they're doing. And I mean, it's funny because in some ways it's almost a parallel to, okay, the world of bookstores and, independent bookstores and book reviews and all, newspapers, and then there's online. You want to choose to live. I don't think it's very modern. I think it's nostalgic and, yeah. So I don't think it's very forward thinking, but whatever makes people happy, as long as they're not bothering other people.
Are you good with boundaries? And if so, could you share what are some of your boundaries?
I certainly don't have a history of being good with boundaries, That's funny. When I teach, I have good boundaries because I've been doing it since 1995, and I really believe in teaching and don't want to exploit and really want to help draw people out. And I think it's really important to maintain a distance.
Right.
Intimately, I've certainly had enormous problems. Part of it is, I think I grew up in a crazy household. I mean, my mother was, so I have such a high tolerance for behavior that other people, I have to check with other people and say, is this, I still don't know. I don't. It's not in my background. What is, healthy behavior? So sometimes I have issues with boundaries around that. I'm pretty comfortable. I'd probably be comfortable in, in an insane asylum on some level. A lot of times people who are off, and how off am I? I don't know. They have things that's, it's fun. They can be brilliant, So boundaries is something I continue to work on. You know what? It's funny you bring that up because this is, first of all, the on-camera thing is so terrifying. But just being interviewed, this is only the second time with this book coming out that I'm being interviewed. And one of the things that I'm going to try and work on is how much are you going to reveal? You reveal on the page is one thing, but how are you going to handle yourself when you're speaking to people? Right. Enough so you make something vivid, but not where you're like, oh my God, why did I? Right. You said too much.
How has writing this book affected your life? For instance, have you lost any friendships or relationships over it?
Not yet, but let's see what happens when it comes out. Right. You don't know. That's a thing. That's another really cool thing that I practiced with the first book. I didn't know if my father was going to say, right. And it's really good you bring that up because one of the reasons I felt like I also should write this book is because I don't think it had been done before. A woman writing about, like, really graphic and honestly about learning that she has something like this and sharing it with other people. I keep losing track of what I'm saying.
Asking you if it's cost you any relationships.
So, another reason that I thought I was someone who should do this is because I'm not married. I don't have children. I'm not really close with my family. And I don't have as much to lose as a lot of people do who have this affliction. Right. And that's another reason I thought it's my job, in a way. Mm-hmm. I like that when you feel like there's a mission or a deadline or something. Otherwise, why would we do it? It's so crazy to reveal yourself. But I feel like that's the job, I think, of an artist, too, really, to, like, tell it, go there. And there is an element of sacrifice, which goes back to institutionalized rule. I like the very primitive roots of that kind of stuff. Sacrifice is an important part of, if you have a gift at all with writing or expressing yourself that way, it's kind of bigger than you. Mm-hmm. You have to just get out of your own way and do it. And let it be, and let it have whatever effect. Like, for example, even I had fantastic readers along the way because I love being social, and you have to kind of shut yourself away when you're writing. The only good part is then you get to, like, I have to get to go back out in the world. And it's even tastier. It's like exercising really hard, and then you're finished. You're like, wow. Thank God I'm not still running stairs or whatever. Some of the people who read along the way, I had one person who I thought was really private, and so I didn't want to put her into the book, right? And I thought I was doing her a favor, and she read it, and she said, it seems like you only have one friend. I thought I was your close friend, and I wrote a scene in with her, okay? It was integral to, but then I wrote it, and she said, oh, did you have to write it like that? I guess, but I was telling the truth, but she didn't really like it. Right. But she also wanted to be, so you don't know. That's the funny thing. You don't know who's going to respond, what way, like, hey, I was there, or like, oh my God, you said that about me? I have no idea what's going to happen.
Has your dad read it?
No, he hasn't read it yet. He may not read it for a while. I think he's very, very proud. He's very proud. Look he's a complicated guy. You can tell from the book, right?